Good evening, everyone, and welcome to week 2 in CU 122, Culinary Arts and Patisserie. What an exciting week. Chef Suzanne and I welcome you to another fine live session. And, we mentioned this at a few moments ago, but what a fantastic class this is to work with. And Chef Suzanne and I are just overwhelmed with the enthusiasm and the professionalism that we have seen so far into week 2. So thank you everybody for your efforts. It's really awesome to be working with such an enthusiastic group, and it makes our jobs really fun as well. So thank you. I'm sure Chef Suzanne could go on about that for quite a few minutes, but we'll get back to that here in just a few moments. So great job to the majority of you for getting your assignments in on time. That is a true reflection upon who you are as a professional, meaning that you discipline yourself to be able to create the time to get your assignment done on a timely basis. Great job building habits for when you get into industry. And it starts today, and on-time submission is one of those habits that you need to work with. You have to remember that when a customer comes into your restaurant and sits down to eat, they're not going to wait for you to get your prep work done. They expect to be served when they walk into the door, and that's the mentality that we need to have, that we are here of service to others. So keep that in the back of your mind. Let's talk about week 1 here for the next few minutes to get some feedback from everybody. How did you guys like the knowledge checks? Does anybody want to share about that? Do we have any hands up out there? Conversions, knowledge checks, anybody? No?
Seems like a lot of crickets, Chef.
I think so. Yeah.
They enjoyed it so much they're speechless.
Yeah, I think so. Donald, what do you think about the knowledge checks?
Well, they were pretty. I felt pretty simple and standard. I mean, I'm sure they're going to get a little more elaborate as we go, but it wasn't too bad. I was expecting it to be a lot worse than it was.
I'm glad you brought that up, because it is going to build over the next couple of weeks. The conversions knowledge checks, make sure you take those very seriously. You're probably thinking to yourself, why do I need to know how many teaspoons are in a tablespoon, or how many ounces are in a tablespoon, or quarts, pints, and gallons? Once you are in industry, you will be scaling recipes on a regular basis. You're going to have other culinarians coming up to you and saying, well, there's 16 tablespoons in that cup. How many ounces are in each tablespoon? And you're going to be able to answer these questions efficiently. Speaking of this week's knowledge checks, there are 2 of them. One, the regular knowledge check, do not start yet. It is still being worked on by our IT department. In other words, we've parked the truck, they've popped the hood, and they're in there trying to get it all cleaned up right now. So hold off on taking the knowledge check for this week until Friday. You can take the conversions knowledge check now. Does everybody understand that? If you try to take the regular knowledge check, it's going to mess you up just a little bit because the answers do not coincide with the questions and vice versa. How did everybody like making the vinaigrette? Does anybody want to share about that? Anyone?
Siobhan, I like the vinaigrette sauce. It was good. I enjoyed that project.
Siobhan, what kind of vinaigrette did you make?
Well, now that I don't know. I just used the ingredients. So the one that was on our assignment.
So you did the basic vinaigrette?
Yes, I was about to say I didn't know it was like a specific one.
Uh-huh.
No, I just did the basic one, but the mayonnaise was awful.
Oh, you didn't like the mayonnaise?
No, I'm gonna need a lot of work on that.
All right, hang on. We're gonna get to that point here in we're gonna get there in just a moment. Thank you very much. Willie, what's going on? How'd you like the vinaigrette?
Good afternoon, or good evening. I loved it. Hey,
You liked it, huh?
Yes, I used red wine vinegar, and I added garlic, crushed garlic.
Okay, good.
And some oregano, and a little bit of lemon juice, things. That was the first time I ever made with red wine vinegar. It was delicious.
Awesome. Good. It sounds like you started to step out of the box a little bit, and we're going to keep encouraging you to do that. To start adding other things to the vinaigrette. I know fresh chives are fantastic in there. I love to add dried apricots to that. Dijon mustard is absolutely fantastic in there. So now that you've learned the basic technique, you can start pushing it a little bit further and make it Willie's vinaigrette. You know.
That is right. That is correct.
Yeah. Good job. Thanks for the comments. Donald, what's up, man?
Hey, yeah, I loved it. I made a blackberry balsamic vinaigrette,
Yeah?
and it turned out amazing. Probably one of the better berry vinaigrettes I've ever had. I've made vinaigrette in the past, but this was a little more elaborate because I heated the berries a bit and then mashed them, then strained everything out through a strainer, and then did the emulsion with like cold pressed canola oil, like extra virgin canola oil.
Mm-hmm.
And it surprisingly held together a lot longer than the average temporary emulsion.
Well, good job. I like what you're saying about adding berries. I think that's fantastic. That's kind of the direction that we want to see everybody going, trying new things. Thanks for the comments, Donald. How about Keith?
I like that you chose the easier name, Chef.
How do you pronounce your first name?
Chitvan.
Chitvan. Okay, I want to make sure I did it right.
Yeah, no, that was a smart thing to do.
That's okay. Conservative move.
I made a simple vinaigrette with apple cider vinegar and Evo, extra virgin olive oil, and smoked paprika and just salt and pepper. But this was the first time I actually made a vinaigrette properly. Let me
good for you.
Honest. Yeah. So I didn't realize how much hard work there is in a vinaigrette. I thought that would be the easiest part of this assignment. But and I started with that, and it wasn't.
Well, that's awesome. It sounds like you picked up on the technique, and that's really what we're looking for.
Yeah, but it was fun. It was fun.
Good job. Excellent. Thank you. Sabina. Sabina. Are you there?
Good evening.
Hi.
Give me a minute. Hi. So I did a champagne vinaigrette with champagne vinegar, and I used avocado oil and Dijon.
Uh-huh. Oh, awesome.
So
I like the
avocado oil. Yeah, it's a little creamier and well, because I did a roasted salmon niçoise, so it really balanced because I needed, because of the salmon I didn't have anchovies, so the Dijon kind of took that, and the Kalamata olives replaced the brininess, so it actually worked out really well.
Good job. I like your direction. That's good. You pushed the limits a little bit and tried something a little bit different. Back in the late 1980s, we added champagne vinegar to our vinaigrettes. This way we could charge $5 more because it sounds much fancier. But great job. I appreciate it. Marshall, what's going on?
Hey, good evening.
Good evening.
Well, I made it actually twice this weekend. The first time I did it with the red wine and some little bit of cayenne and a little bit of herbs, and then I used extra virgin olive oil on that one, and it came out. I was just playing with the flavors of the oil. So the second one I made, like on Sunday, I just used the regular vegetable oil with some white wine vinegar.
Fresh herbs or dried herbs?
They're fresh.
Fresh. Good for you. Good for you. Did you chop them fine, or did you leave them a little bit bigger?
No, I chopped them fine.
Try leaving them a little bit bigger, because the reason we do that is if you chop them too fine, especially when you're working with mixed herbs, each herb will lose its individual flavor. So we want to make sure that you're able to taste the oregano, the tarragon, the sage, the thyme. And so if you leave the pieces a little bit bigger, you'll have a much more complex flavor profile.
Yeah, because I'm just taking like the use of the different oils. I found out when I used the vegetable oil on Sunday, and it tastes a whole lot different when I use the extra virgin olive oil. Saturday night when I used, but both of them came out great. Now the mayonnaise, that's something that I gotta work on.
We're gonna talk about that right now. Thanks, Marshall. Adrian, what's up? Adrian.
Hi, what's up, Chef? Good evening. How are you doing?
How are you?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking yourself.
Good.
The vinaigrette, it was awesome. I'm really not a salad type of person. My wife and kids are, but me on the other hand, I first started off with basic vinaigrette using extra virgin olive oil, some red wine vinegar, a few herbs and seasoning, and I was also grilling this weekend. So once I finished that, I added some garlic, thyme, and a few other things, and I used that as a marinade for my steaks, and they came out awesome.
Good for you. I like the way that you're utilizing that in multiple directions, and that's one of the things that we'll get into later on in this course on how we can use one item in many different areas, because it's a real cost savings measure, but it also creates a real quality product as well. So great comments, Adrian. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sage, what's up?
Hey there.
Hi.
So when I was making my vinaigrette, I kind of had a moment, like I panicked a little bit, because when I first did like the standard recipe, I used the red wine vinegar and the extra virgin olive oil and everything. It came out very bland and terribly tasting. So I panicked and just grabbed a bunch of random spices and garlic out of my cupboard and threw it in there. And it actually turned out pretty well after I refrigerated it for a bit.
Okay.
So
that's one way of doing it. It's a bit like playing the lottery or a slot machine, because you don't always win. But it sounds like you got the technique down. And the one thing I did pick up on that I did like is that you put it in your refrigerator for a little bit. And those marinade or those vinaigrettes, if you have things like herbs or other spices in there, will macerate and bloom those other flavors into your vinaigrette. So good job with that. Thank you very much for your comments, Sage. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gents, mayonnaise. And I think that was probably a big topic amongst many of you. Chef Suzanne and I had quite a few inquiries over the weekend regarding mayonnaise. Number one, the color of the mayonnaise will depend on the color of the egg yolks. So if you are using an extra virgin olive oil that is dark green and you're using very, very bright yellow egg yolks, it's not going to come out that creamy white look that you buy at the grocery store, and that is not the look that you want to get anyway, because that is not a natural substance. It's loaded with preservatives and chemicals, and so when you make it naturally from scratch, it is going to have a much more yellow look to it. So that is that kind of helps with that concern. I see quite a few hands up there. Let's start with Dawn. Dawn, what's going on?
I've had to make the mayonnaise actually twice, because the first time I'm not sure whether it did. I think I added one too many yolks, and it didn't. The emulsion didn't happen. It didn't thicken up. So I went back and I watched the video that was given to us, and then I watched a couple more videos and did some more research from different angles. And the second time, it definitely came. It took a lot shorter time. The first time I was whisking for like 30 minutes. It was like, this is not supposed to happen this long. So. Yeah. The second time I did within a couple of minutes. I was pretty pleased with it.
Good job. Good job. Good job hanging in there and doing the additional work to get it right. 99% of the time, if it does break, it is because you are adding the oil too quickly initially, and you have to rapidly or quickly agitate your egg yolks as you are adding in the droplets of oil. And that will bind with the cholesterol and the lecithin in the egg yolks, which creates your emulsion. So good job. Thank you for your comments. I appreciate it. Donald, what's up? Donald.
Yeah. Hey, yeah. I was just going to say that for me, it was probably the best mayonnaise I've ever had.
Big difference, isn't it? Big difference in the flavor profile.
It was a lot. I used white wine vinegar when I made it, and it came out. It was slightly off-white. It wasn't white, but it did become whiter. And I just used like regular vegetable oil, like really light vegetable oil.
Nice.
And, I was surprised at how well I liked it because the flavor was a lot more. The only way I can describe it is like zippy, kind of tangy, but very pleasant. And it's definitely going to be something that I'm going to make on a regular and keep in the refrigerator because it's better than anything you can buy in the store.
Awesome, awesome. Now that the most of you have learned the technique and gotten the technique down, once you've assembled your mayonnaise, you can go in so many different directions with it. And there are so many different uses beyond just mayonnaise. For example, toasting bread with that fresh homemade mayonnaise on it and then toast it on your grill or in a saute pan will rock your world. Adding fresh garlic and lime juice to it, make yourself an aioli, add sriracha to it. There's so many different directions. So thank you for those comments. Willie, what's up?
It was awesome. I use that's what I did with the salad dressing. I used avocado oil, and I was kind of just tasting it. Lemon juice, I really think did something to it.
Yeah,
I've made it. This is my second time making mayonnaise in my life. The first time it was okay. It was a couple years ago, but this is really awesome. My wife loves it. My son loves it. I mean, I'm not going back.
And you know what? I'm glad you say that because that's one of the reasons we cook. Naturally, people that go into culinary arts have this desire to please other people. And when we please other people with the things that we prepare, it's payday. I mean, that is your paycheck right there. And lemon juice is very, very interesting because lemons actually originated in Asia, and they're a cross of two different fruits, a sour orange and a citron. And lemons are fairly high in monosodium glutamate, which is naturally occurring in the lemons. So when you add the lemon juice to the mayonnaise, it pops your palate, and it gives you so many other flavors. And what you put it on, it also enhances the flavor as well. So good comment.
And I got to work out.
Yeah.
And I got to work it. Yeah.
Good comments. Sage, what's going on?
So I did my mayo twice. Both results came out yellowish, and they emulsify very well. But my problem is, I don't know if I was using like the wrong kind of vinegar, but both attempts came out tasting like drywall mud, and I don't know what happened.
Drywall mud.
Yeah, it was like very bitter and chalky.
Should not be eating drywall mud. Should not have a comparison for that. I'm just saying.
Well, I used to help my uncle in carpentry, and we got into a fight with it, and I ate it on accident one time.
Okay, so there is
Sage has a very interesting life.
Oh yeah, it's been a wild time. All 22 years of it so far.
So Sage, if you want to get a hold of me later, we can work through your mayonnaise and we can get it straightened out for you.
That would be amazing. Thank you.
You're welcome. Adrian, what's going on?
Hi, Chef. My first mayo, I did basic mayo, and the kids' godparents were on the phone with me when I was doing it, and they're real big into mayonnaise. So for them, I did Parmesan cheese, black pepper, mayo. So once I got that done, they came and got some and took it home, and they were amazed by it. So what I usually do, depending on what we're doing for class, I usually post some of my things on Facebook.
Good.
So the crazy part about it is my one of the supervisors at work came to work Monday with like a tray full of sandwiches. Like, hey, Adrian, where's the mayo? I'm like, what are you talking about? Mayo you posted. So anyway, I took it to work yesterday, and they loved it. So pretty much everybody had a sandwich wants mayo now. So
good job. So you've got the touch.
Absolutely.
Always be careful what you post on social media.
You got that right.
Thanks, and Cheryl, what's up? Cheryl.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Hi, Cheryl.
Okay. Well, I love the assignment. I'm never going to go back to store-bought and mayonnaise again.
Wow, that's awesome.
But, like, I had a question about next week. I only have about 10 minutes left on my break. But can I make a ham salad instead of the chicken salad?
We would prefer that you make chicken, but if you have no access to chicken, you can use ham.
I'll do the chicken salad.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Cheryl. Penny, what's up, Penny?
Yes, my husband doesn't like mayonnaise just plain. He prefers his to have some tomato in it. So I put tomato paste in mine, made it turn like an orange color. And I instead of using basil, I used doTERRA, the essential oils, to give it a basil touch. And he's been carrying it to work on his sandwiches, and now it's a demand that I have to have it. So it's driving me crazy.
Great problem to have. Great problem to have. Thank you for that comment. That's awesome. Thank you, Penny. Travis, what's up?
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Hey, Chef. In regards to mayo with the oil, will it matter what type of oil you use compared to like canola or vegetable or grapeseed oil?
Those oils are not going to have a radical difference between the two. But once you're in industry, if you're not already in industry, the biggest thing that we get concerned about is cost, right? So with vegetable being your least expensive, and without it making a big difference between the canola and the avocado or whatever the grapeseed, they're going to be asking that you, continue to work with the vegetable oil. And that's one of the biggest reasons we changed oils. You got to remember that, you made your recipe this weekend with, 8, 10, 12 ounces of oil. In the restaurant industry, we're going through 100 gallons of oil on a monthly basis. So those little uses add up, and it's a cost issue. So that's what we focus on.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, Alejandro, and then Sabina, and then we are on to the week. So what's going on, Alejandro?
When I made my mayonnaise, it didn't thicken as much as one is normally used to. It was more like a Alfredo sauce consistency. Did I do something wrong in there?
Yes, you did. You did not. It doesn't sound as though you created your emulsion initially, and that's when you first begin to add the droplets of oil. You have to add that extremely slowly and agitate vigorously. So you're whisking very quickly, and a couple of drops of oil, let it get absorbed, and then you can slowly increase your flow rate after that. And it sounds as though that you didn't create your emulsion. Once you create your emulsion, that mixture is going to get thicker, thicker, and thicker. And it doesn't sound like that happened to you. Does that make sense, Alejandro?
Yes. Thank you.
And if you need more help, reach out, and I'll work with you. I'll be glad to help you. Sabina, what's going on?
I keep pressing the wrong button. So the stainless bowl does make a difference chemically, because when I've done mayonnaise in the past with my glass bowls, it's longer and harder to make. And of course, I still had to get up on a step stool because my counters are too high, because my arm is killing me. And then, I get my husband, that's not Miracle Whip. And I'm like, you haven't had Miracle Whip in 30 years. I'm not big. I had Miracle Whip, disgusting. So yeah, it was from the science of my mind, being a hairdresser and a color, having to deal with, like, I cannot mix bleach in a stainless metal bowl because the reaction of ammonia and peroxide with metal, which was why I asked last week if it was important. And it does make a difference. It really makes a difference, the stainless, because it tempered faster than in a glass bowl. And it thickened better. It didn't break at all. I've had my mayonnaise break on me when I do it in a glass bowl, because I make it all the time being keen.
Well, that's very interesting. I'll keep that in the back of my mind, but thank you for sharing that, Sabina. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Just the science geek in me.
All right. Thank you. Ladies and gents, let's jump on to next week. We're going to skip over the chicken salad because Chef Suzanne reported that they're all fantastic. And we need to make up a little bit of time here. and get moving forward. A couple of notes to share with you regarding this upcoming week. Great job with getting your assignments in on time. This is a sign of your professionalism. Thank you very, very much. Do not procrastinate. Chefs work in advance, right? And Chef Suzanne will back me up on this, but if you can get it done Friday, a good chef will have it in on Wednesday. And we're always 2 steps ahead the entire time. And the honor and pride of being a successful professional chef requires a lot of hard work and dedication. You do not get to don the toque without putting in the work. So prepare yourselves. It's not an easy journey, but it is a very rewarding journey. So I know all of you can do it. For those of you that have any questions regarding your assignment submission and assignment grades, make sure that you are contacting Chef Suzanne with that information. I had quite a few people reaching out asking me about their assignments, and which is perfectly fine. I don't mind helping out, but try to send those right to Chef Suzanne. And if you have any questions about the mechanics of your assignment, you don't understand, the mayonnaise is giving you a hard time, reach out, let me know, and I'll be glad to work with you and help you out. So we just want to make sure that we keep those things on the straight up. So there were also a couple of questions this past week on posting attendance here in CU 122. Posting attendance is critical. The reason we want you to post attendance at least every 4 days in this class is it greatly increases your chance of success. The students that maintain regular attendance are always the one that walk out of the class with 100. So we really push this. You can post attendance by completing a knowledge check. You can attend the live session tonight like you are, that post attendance. Watching the live session archive also post attendance. Submitting your weekly assignment also does the same thing. Does anybody have any questions about posting attendance? Nobody. Crickets. Crickets. Okay, good. Oh, Donald. What's up, Donald?
I just wanted to kind of get some clarification on the attendance thing. But
sure.
Generally, for the most part, the way my work schedule and everything is, I come to the live session on Wednesday and Thursday. Friday, I usually do my knowledge check tests, and then Saturday I submit everything, and then I don't generally come back until Wednesday.
Okay.
So how does that? I mean, that's not because once everything's done Saturday, I don't generally come back unless until Wednesday for the live session for the next class.
And that's pretty good because you're 4 or 5 days, so that's not bad. We just want to make sure we keep you close to the fire to keep you nice and warm.
Gotcha.
So to speak. Sound good?
All right, thank you.
All right. Ladies and gents, something Chef Suzanne and I are very big on, and that is professional. We oftentimes like to introduce new chefs who have been successful in the industry and pride themselves on their professionalism. There is a very, very large organization, and I'm not sure if everyone's heard of it or not, but it's called the American Culinary Federation. And they are the official certification industry or certification organization for professional chefs in the United States. I'm a member of the ACF and have been for many, many years. If you've ever seen anybody that has a CEC or a certified master chef, certified sous chef, that's all done through the American Culinary Federation. They are in your local communities. If you ever have the opportunity to join the organization, I highly recommend it. It is fantastic for networking. You get to meet a lot of other chefs, and you won't have to fill out any applications. I guarantee you of that. So, because you will have lots of friends. Isn't that right, Chef Suzanne?
Yes, it is. You are correct, Chef.
Yeah. So we deal a lot with the American Culinary Federation. Very large, great way to get continuing education credits. However, this week we're going to talk about Chef John Selleck. Chef John Selleck recently won the ACF Professionalism Award, and I'd like for you to take a quick look at him. And I was also pretty touched by the amount of volunteer work that he takes on. So this is pretty cool.
I've had some of my chef friends say I spend more time cooking in the community than I actually do at work. Last year, I had over 9,000 people at various events. It feels great to see so many people come and support an organization and be a part of that and see that success. It's a pretty great feeling. I've always enjoyed being a chef at the various restaurants I worked at. But when I came here, I realized how important being a chef here was. This profession has been very good to me. 20 years plus into it, I still like it. Being the Northeast Regional winner, I think it's probably my proudest accomplishment. And I hope that this inspires other people that may know me to be a better chef, to come in every day. And I want to see that kind of success for myself. So if somebody gets into this industry and they're younger and they're newer, I want to show them that you can really make something for yourself out of this industry and it can be really good for you.
So he is a cool dude. And what really impresses me about him is he has a tremendous amount of skills. He's very accomplished, but yet he still has enough time to give back to his community. So I would highly recommend following his footsteps. He's done quite well for himself, and he's also done quite well for his local community. So we're always about the professionalism. So congratulations, Chef John Selleck, on your award. And moving on, this week, we are diving into the world of hors d'oeuvres. Hors d'oeuvres in the hospitality industry are huge. Please do not confuse them with an amuse-bouche. An amuse-bouche is a complimentary 1 or 2 bite appetizer that is given at the beginning of a meal, complimentary, and it is not considered an hors d'oeuvre. An hors d'oeuvre was brought to the United States by a very profound individual by the name of James Beard. And James Beard is one of the icons in this industry. He passed away several years ago in 1985, but one of his bigger accomplishments was the introduction of the hors d'oeuvre to the Americas. And he not only did that, but he had the first nationally televised culinary program in the United States back in 1946. He later partnered with Julia Child, and one of his biggest accomplishments was his foundation, the James Beard Foundation, which I'm sure many of you have heard of. But to be honored by them is one of the highest accolades that any chef can receive in the United States. So the James Beard Foundation is huge. He has been, he was everywhere, and he has over 20 cookbooks, and he was very inspirational to many people. But his big accomplishment was bringing the hors d'oeuvre to the America and to his foundation. I encourage all of you to take a few minutes when you get a chance, look up the James Beard Foundation, try to get involved. It's a wonderful organization to be a part of. And to be a James Beard Award winner, your career is set. You don't have to look back. You're done. You can relax because everybody will want you to work there. Any questions about James Beard? He's from Gerhardt, Oregon. That's where I spent my summers. I never met him. Okay, moving on to week 2, ladies and gents, in CU 122. This week, we have 2 knowledge checks. Remember, the knowledge check we do not want to take until Friday, right? Because they're working on it right now. So if you take it, you're going to get confused and your answers will not match your questions. So hold off until Friday. Conversions knowledge check, go ahead and take it. It's ready to go. It is set. Thank you, everybody, for being here at the live session. This is great attendance. I am so enthused by this class, and it is fantastic. And this week, we are working on bound salads and hors d'oeuvres. We're going to be making bound chicken salad and stuffed mushroom caps for the hors d'oeuvres. All of you received this in your school messaging system this week. And this is a recommended list of priorities in this class for this week. Watch the live session on Wednesday, read research materials Thursday, knowledge check Thursday, read and understand assignment prep list Friday, prepare assignment, submit Saturday and Sunday, review Chef Suzanne's comments, and resubmit with suggestions on Monday and Tuesday. Any questions about this week? Anyone? All right. Moving on to our next slide. We have our weekly conversions chart. Each week, there's going to be a different chart that we post into the weekly presentation. As a reminder, the weekly presentation can be found on the class page following the live session. So this will help you with this week's conversions. And then we were just talking about hors d'oeuvres. Hors d'oeuvres are one of my most favorite things. In the hotel industry, in the resort industry, and a lot in the catering industry and restaurant industry, hors d'oeuvres are very commonly served at dinner functions before guests sit down. So it's something that will either be put onto a buffet or passed on trays to the guest by servers. They come in a number of, I don't know how many different forms hors d'oeuvres come in, but there's millions of different forms that they come in, and it's really up to you as to what they look like and taste like. So hors d'oeuvres are an incredible thing, great way to make money in the restaurant industry, and great way to whet your customers' appetizers. Chef Suzanne, do you have anything to add about hors d'oeuvres?
I can honestly say that's probably my absolute favorite thing to make. With the catering and banquet background that I have, that is my absolute, I mean, that is, to me, the sky is the limit. You can turn almost anything into some sort of hors d'oeuvre, and you can really let creativity flow when making hors d'oeuvres. So that's my favorite. When people ask, you know, I like to make soups, but hors d'oeuvres is my favorite.
Wow, yeah, I love hors d'oeuvres. It's a great way to shine, and they're so beautiful. You can see some of the hors d'oeuvres down here. This is a chorizo that is on a focaccia bread with various types of cheeses with bamboo skewers. These are smoked salmon roulades served on a croissant or a rye cracker. And then there's just an assortment right here. And it's a great way to practice your garde-manger skills. So it's a wonderful thing to work on. Alejandro, what's your question, buddy?
Hors d'oeuvres appetizer, or are they something separate from appetizers?
Separate. An hors d'oeuvre is going to be served before you get to the table, right? So it's kind of a pre-table type thing. You know, some people will get up and go through the buffet and sit down with a couple of hors d'oeuvres. However, when we start dinner, we generally start with an appetizer up front, and that's a little bit more of the traditional mentality. So an hors d'oeuvre is going to be something that's served at a cocktail reception, a wedding reception, a pre-dinner type event.
Okay.
Sound good?
Yep.
All right. So this week in CU 122, you are preparing stuffed mushrooms. A couple of things to watch out for. It says to clean mushrooms and separate caps on here. I don't like to wash mushrooms. I like to wipe them with a damp towel if they are very, very dirty, because washing mushrooms will introduce oxygen into the mushroom, which forces it to brown and soften very, very quickly, and it does affect the cooking. So a damp towel does work very, very well. Make sure that you do gather all of your mise en place and preheat your oven. It is most definite. When it says clean mushroom caps as well, what they're referring to is if you hold the mushroom and gently pull on the stem will pop out. You can save the stem and make a cream of mushroom soup if you're doing a large volume. You can make a mushroom sauce if you would like to, or you can simply discard them if you have no more use. This recipe here is calling for those mushroom stems to be minced, because you're going to be adding it back in with onions and bell peppers and green onions and parsley. And then this week you will take that mixture and saute it. Add your choice of herbs, and then transfer stuffing to a bowl. Let it cool down for a little while, and then the breadcrumbs are going to become the binding agent and hold everything together. Then you're going to place the mushrooms with, standing up, or not standing up, but with the stem side up, and then you're going to fill them with that mixture. If anybody has a sorbet scoop, that works wonderful to fill the mushroom caps. It does great. Chef Suzanne, what are some alternate suggestions? I know Italian sausage goes great in there.
Oh, you ruined it. My favorite stuffed mushroom is cream cheese, Parmesan cheese, and Italian sausage. That's like, I make that for holidays. If I don't bring it, somebody's probably gonna be mad at me. So that's what I like. Crab meat is amazing in the stuffed mushroom. Ham goes really well with mushrooms. So like chopped up ham along with that mixture is really good.
Spinach and cream cheese goes fantastic into that mixture as well. So this week, ladies and gents, what we want to see from everybody is understanding how to do the mushroom cap, how to stuff the mushroom cap, understand that the breading is the binding agent, but we do want to see a little bit of creativity in there as well. So there's a couple of pictures of what these mushroom caps should be looking like on the left-hand side of the page. And you want to, we need to see, something very, very similar to that. So if you want to push the boundaries a little bit this week, understand that we are looking to see a bound mushroom cap that's being held together by the breadcrumbs. That's a critical step. And then we want to see the properly cleaned mushroom cap and then the properly cooked mushroom appetizer or hors d'oeuvre. So pay very close attention to that. If you want to jack it up and add some andouille sausage to it, some Italian sausage, some hard chorizo sausage, ham, like Chef Suzanne was saying, all of those things work great. We've done them with spinach, cream cheese, jalapeno jack cheese. All of those things in there work quite well. Adrienne, what's your question?
Yes, hi, Chef.
Hi.
I was wondering, what is a good type of mushroom to use for the hors d'oeuvres?
Okay, for stuffed mushroom caps, 99% of the time you're going to want to stick with what we call button mushrooms. Button mushroom actually refers to a size, so you want to look for a larger domestic mushroom that we are used to working with. Just like is pictured here, you can use the criminis, or they also call those baby portobellos. Those work well, but they are a little bit more expensive.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Gary, what's up? Gary. How about Madeline? What's up, Madeline?
So if you do decide to put cream cheese in your stuffed mushroom, do you recommend using like a whipped cream cheese or to soften it like?
You're going to soften that cream cheese, but you're only going to add about 10% cream cheese to the entire mixture, because otherwise the breadcrumbs are not going to be able to hold it.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Michael, what's up?
So my last class, they would post a link to like helpful folders. You guys do that for us?
We do not have a thing of helpful folders in this class, because you are beginning to branch out now, and we anticipate you'll be doing a little bit of research. And as well, this presentation that you're looking at here on your screen is posted on your class page immediately following the live session itself.
Thank you.
Does that help?
Yes.
All right. Let's see, who else do we have up there? What's that?
You hear me now, Gary?
Yeah. Oh, hi, Gary.
How you doing?
Good.
I've heard a lot of people ask about changing the ingredients of what the recipe calls for, and you've given answers. How far can we from reading a lot of ideas of how we do the rest?
Okay. So we want, our primary concern is that you learn the technique and the presentation of the item. So you have to have the mushroom cap. You have to have it has to be bound by breadcrumbs, and it has to be served in an aesthetically pleasing fashion. Now, what you do in between there is perfectly fine with us.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
So I didn't have to really mince up the stems. I could have used something else as that stuffing.
If you choose to, yeah.
Okay.
We're fine with that. Sound good?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is that Raina?
Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
Did I say that right?
You did.
Hey, gold star. Gold star, don't forget.
Gold star for you. Okay. So I'm hearing what you're saying as far as like the breadcrumbs and everything. I'm not gonna lie, for stuffed items such as like peppers and mushrooms and all of that, I have a total disdain for breadcrumbs because it feels like it masks the vegetables that's in, is there anything else that could be used?
Actually, if you're getting to the point where the breadcrumbs are masking the other flavors, then you kind of need to think about what you're doing. Number one, you want to make sure that you're using a plain breadcrumb, which is perfectly fine, and you're only adding enough breadcrumbs to bind it. That's the only purpose of the breadcrumb in there, is a binding agent. Now, your other ingredients should be able to stand alone as far as flavor profiles are concerned. So, fresh herbs or sausages or anything else in there, they're going to be profound and they will not have their flavors masked.
Okay. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. When I look at a mushroom and I want to eat a mushroom, I want to taste the mushroom. I don't want to have bread in it. So
you got it. Thank you. Michael, did we talk to you already, Michael?
Yeah, we good.
We good. Okay. Thank you. Got to lower your hand there, bud. All right. Donald, what's up?
Well, you may have already answered it with the last question, because I also am I do the keto thing, so I try to stay from all carbs whatsoever, as far as bread products go. And so I was just wondering, is there any other kind of binding agent to use for these stuffed mushrooms that isn't a bread product?
There are other available binding agents, but we really want to stick with it for this assignment because we want to make sure that you understand the technique, and it is extremely widely used within the industry. So if we could do it this week, we'd really appreciate it.
Yeah. All right. I thought I would ask, though. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Donald. Alejandro.
I have a chef at my job who does stuffed mushrooms all the time. And every time I eat some of the mushrooms that he shares with us, it sort of feel a bit wet, a bit damp.
Okay.
Is that normal for most mushrooms when you do mushroom?
That would be a sign. If a lot of times they like to blanch the mushroom caps first. It's an old school technique where they cook it down in sherry and butter and then stuff them, and that might be what he's doing, or blanching them in water, which does get them soggy to begin with. However, the technique that is listed in this recipe, that will not happen.
Okay.
Sound good?
Yep.
All right. So I think we're all pretty solid on this recipe. Before we move on to the next topic, I know that there has been a number of questions regarding gluten and some other types of food allergies, which are fairly prevalent. However, I think we're kind of over the gluten hump now as far as a trend is concerning. Just real quick, something about gluten. There's two proteins that are found in flour, glutenin and glutenine. And when you combine those two proteins with water and you begin the kneading process, you create strands of protein that are referred to as gluten. Gluten creates the structure that is held in bread. And unfortunately in society, a lot of food manufacturers have been putting it in all sorts of everything. And as a result, a lot of us are consuming a lot of gluten that we really don't need to be. There is absolutely nothing wrong with consuming gluten. The human body has been consuming gluten for thousands and thousands of years, and we didn't begin having problems with gluten until recently in society, and I believe that is because we get it in so many other forms, and I think society has kind of created a little bit of phobia about eating gluten, and perhaps it could help you with health issues, which is a whole nother subject. But if you do have celiac disease, which is a gluten intolerance, certainly let us know, and we'll be glad to accommodate that and work with you and take care of you. But for the most part, we really want to make sure that you do understand the basic techniques. If you do have other food allergies, such as nut allergies or an allergy to something else that we're working with, certainly let Chef Suzanne or myself know, and we're going to work with you and accommodate you by all means. So, Raina, what's up?
Raina. I am so sorry. Hello. Okay, so I don't know much about celiac disease. All I know is that anytime, and I don't, this isn't just with bread though. It's with starch, period. I literally have issues with, I don't know whether it's digestive issues or like I get extremely bloated, and it's not just bread, it's pasta, it's potatoes, it's rice, I can't eat too much of it at all. I don't know if you know it. Do you know anything about that or what might be giving me that reaction?
I do, and I can talk to you about it after class, and I can help you out. And a lot of it has to do with what is called gut health, which has to do with your flora that is found in your intestinal tract, because there's a tremendous link between the digestive tract and your entire body. It's even linked to things like dementia, Alzheimer's, ADHD, bipolarism, and many other things gut health affects. And when somebody has an imbalance in their system, that can lead to the inability to properly digest certain foods, especially starches. So if you want to get a hold of me, I can certainly give you my advice. I'm not a doctor, and I'm not, but I'm a food guy, and I know where that goes. So I'll be glad to.
Okay. I don't have enough money to see a doctor about it anyway, but I'll reach out to you for it. Thanks.
You got it. You're welcome. Ladies and gents, let's move on to our next assignment this week. This is bound chicken salad, which is a little bit more of a traditional chicken salad. It calls for cooked chicken cut into a 1/2-inch dice. Now, there's a couple of different ways you can go about this. Chef Suzanne and I highly recommend that you take the opportunity to either butcher a chicken or poach an entire chicken. This is a great lesson to learn. Plus, as a bonus, you get the chicken stock when you're done. And it's basically a procedure of preparing all your ingredients and simply mixing them. It's not an overly complicated recipe, but it is a very important technique to learn and understand. Chef Suzanne and I would like to see some creativity, and I'm going to let Chef Suzanne talk about this because I know how she feels about chicken. And I'm sure she has a few tricks up her sleeves when it comes to making a bound chicken salad.
You know, Chef, I don't know, just so you all know, I have not known Chef for my whole life, but I feel sometimes like I've known him way longer than I have. They say that most chefs have recipes that they never give out. There's one recipe in my world I don't give out, and that's my chicken salad, because it's always a big hit and I can't share it. I'm rotten like that. I keep it to myself. And for those, because they're pretty new to knowing me, I am a chicken-aholic. I adore chicken in just about any form, shape, size. So I am really excited to see all of you really go. I've seen in the box some cranberries, almonds, apples, grapes, all sorts of, different things you can add in with your chicken salad. Enjoy this one. Have fun. It doesn't really say, as some people may want to put it on bread and make a chicken salad sandwich. That is perfectly fine with me as long as I can see the chicken salad itself, so the bound salad. So I'm super excited. Chef, do we have a minute for me to show what I made real quick? Speaking of creativity, can we do this now?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So I believe that I saw some of y'all just do not even know how excited it makes me to grade, which sounds super weird, but it is what it is. Can everybody see my PowerPoint? Chef, is it there?
Yep.
Okay, cool. All right. So you guys really rocked it to the point that I felt like I had to share with all of you. So I took some of my favorite items from this week and put them in a PowerPoint to show off some student work that really just knocked my socks off. So here, Leah has this amazing salad, really nice looking knife cuts, some color, height, texture on her salad.
Nice.
Isn't that awesome? This is vinaigrette with some fresh edible flowers put in there for some flavor, along with, I believe, some rosemary and herbs, some garlic and shallots. So she rocked out with, and it is not easy to get a good picture of a vinaigrette, just FYI, folks. Anthony also knocked it out of the park with some kind of out-of-the-box items. Looks like he's got some salami in there. Looks like some heirloom cherry tomatoes. Donald, his mise en place looks so good. This is actually, Donald talked about it, his blackberry vinaigrette. And this was, even Donald's mise en place looks amazing. So amazing, I actually have 2 of Donald's mise en place because even just sitting out on his table, Donald rocked some mise en place. So yay, Donald. All sorts of color and textures. Here's another one where they put in
nice salad.
apples. Yeah, isn't that awesome? Apples and strawberries and cheese, and I think there's blueberries on there, avocado on the side. And then here, Eliza did 2 different ways. She did it kind of more family style and an individual plate with her salad. And then Simone also did these amazing colors and textures on her salad. And then Kenneth too, sometimes less can be more. You know, a nice basic crisp salad, little apples on the side. Again, it's hard to find some really good pictures of certain things, and Lena somehow made her mayonnaise look so good I had to take the picture because it came out a great texture, a great color. So again, some things are not always the most photogenic. This one is another one of my favorites with all sorts of colors and out-of-the-box thinking. Just looks so nice. Even some cooked potatoes on there, which you don't typically see, but I liked that added in there.
Salad Niçoise, that looks great.
Isn't that awesome? And I think that's the end there. So if I can stop sharing now. But that's what I get to see. So I've not taught this particular or graded this particular class before. I sit down and I sometimes forget that I'm grading and I just start clicking through pictures. I'm like, oh wait, I need to actually be talking and doing this. Because I love to look at food pictures, and the pictures that have been coming in have been just phenomenal, and I felt like I had to share. So be on the lookout. I know we've talked about this before. Be on the lookout in your messaging and your emails from information from Chef, my lasagna dishes. Hopefully everybody saw that come out this week with some tips and hints. I may even shoot you a note and say, hey, your recipes, your pictures look great this week. I want to use them in my slideshow. So that way you can tell me yes or no. So way to go. So good. I had to share.
That is awesome. I'm so glad you did that. That's some really good looking food. That salad Niçoise, that Chit Van, I'll be over for dinner in about an hour. I think that thing looked great. That was fantastic. Donald's looked great. Everybody's looked fantastic. So that was so impressive. Great job, everybody. That was really nice to see. That was awesome. So with the chicken salad this week, if you want to explore with a little bit of creativity, add maybe some red seedless Thompson grapes cut in half. Some Granny Smith apple goes absolutely fantastic. Little dill in there even is kind of nice, or some other kind of fresh herb. Scallions go fantastic in there. Add a little bit of creativity. Push the limit a little bit. We would like to see that. That is fantastic. Moving on to our assignment page this week. These are the 2 items. We haven't talked much about the narrative sheet here, and I know Chef Suzanne is big on that, as well as I. Narrative sheets are extremely important. When you are in industry, you need to have the ability to effectively communicate the flavors and the composition of your foods, not only to your guest, but to your service staff as well. you have to remember, if you walk up to your server and you say, yeah, that steak is good and it's got mushrooms on it, right? They're going to go to the guest and they're going to say, that steak is good and it's got mushrooms on it. But if you're able to articulate yourself properly and go and say, this lovely piece of grass-fed beef, which is lightly grilled over mesquite and topped with port wine mushrooms and roasted garlic, it's absolutely fantastic with very savory, sweet flavors that are very, very filling. That is what we want to see in the narrative, and that's how you would explain a dish. This narrative is a work in progress. The more you fill them out, the better that you're going to be. When you are in industry, you will become an effective communicator and able to do that. So, Chef Suzanne?
I actually think there's even one more thing that the narrative helps you. I'm a huge fan of the narrative. I agree with Chef. It's going to help you to describe those items, your food products better with your guests, with your staff, but it also helps me. So I'm looking and I'm not in your kitchen. I'm not able to try it. So I rely on a lot of what you're saying in your narrative to kind of put me in the room as best as we can, so that I can see what you've got going on. And if you have issues or if something worked out really well, you have struggles, that's a lot of the information that I can take out of your narrative. So make sure you're not just thinking, oh, I don't need to do this. It really will come in handy further on, and it helps me now to really just kind of be in your kitchen with you as best I can.
Absolutely agree 110%. So put a lot of effort into those narratives. Going back to our assignment page this week, chicken salad, make sure that we have our appropriate self-identification photos, a fresh one each week, your proper sanitation setup for both, your proper mise en place station for both. I think Donald's picture of his mise en place laid out was absolutely fantastic, and I really appreciate that. And then for your chicken salad, all ingredients in a bowl, all ingredients properly combined, and then finish salad presentation in a plate with garnish. And then the mushrooms, you want to see your pre-cooked mushrooms, ingredients in a saute pan, and stuffing in a bowl ready to go, mushrooms stuffed ready for baking, cooked mushrooms presented on a plate. As far as presentation is concerned, presentation is an evolution, just like an artist goes through. When you initially begin to garnish, most young culinarians will have a tendency to do too much and overpowers the food. What Chef Suzanne and I are looking for, we're looking for three basic elements. One is color, the other one is height, and the other one is texture. Whatever you garnish your food with should complement the food. So for example, if you are doing the mushroom cap, do not put half a jalapeno on there for garnish, because you're going to kill whoever's eating it. That is not the intent. However, a nice sprig of flat leaf parsley or perhaps some fresh thyme would be a nice accompaniment and enhance the dish. So a garnish is designed to enhance the appearance of the food, not to overpower the food. Does that make sense to everybody? It's a very, very critical element in the restaurant industry. We need to start seeing all of you garnishing your food on a regular basis. You have to remember, at home, a home cook doesn't do that. A professional chef serves an aesthetically appealing product. We eat with our eyes first, then we eat with our nose, and then we eat with our palate. So there's three different things that we eat with. We have to appeal to all three. It's very, very important. Any questions? Chef Suzanne, do you have anything else to add?
I don't think so. I think we've pretty much answered all the questions that I saw coming up in the box. If anybody has any additional questions, with some specifics, but again, like Chef said, have some fun and be creative with, especially your chicken salad. I did have somebody ask, and I don't think we talked about this, you can cook your chicken in whichever way you really want. Poached is normally going to come out the best, but depending on what you're putting in your chicken salad, you may want to grill it, or you may want to bake it. So you've got a little bit of freedom there. And I am so excited. Just do not even know how excited I am to grade these. And we did ask them to bring it on. I got so many assignments over the weekend. I was like, what is up? This never happened. So this group is pretty awesome.
I know. We're lucky. We're lucky to be with this class. I'm so excited. Alejandro, what's your question?
For the stuffed mushrooms, after we finish it, can we plate it like however we believe we want to, or?
That's what we want to see. Just make sure that you're following the rubric, right? So we need to see the final thing on the rubric for the stuffed mushrooms is a plated stuffed mushroom, and we'd like to see.
Yeah, make sure that did happen a few times. Make sure you're all checking your assignment submission page because it will list exactly what photos you need. So make sure those are the photos that you're including for your assignment.
Absolutely. Willie, did you have a question?
I'm sorry. The mayo, how long is it? I think I remember you guys saying it was Chef Kevin saying it was good for 3 to 5 days. The mayo.
Well, now what's that? I didn't understand the question.
Is the mayonnaise good for? How long is the mayonnaise good for?
Okay, general rule of thumb in industry: we never extend anything beyond 7 days. Whenever you prepare something, prepared foods have a shelf life generally of 7 days, depending on the level of acidity and the water activity within the product, which we'll get into at a later time. But that mayonnaise should last for about 7 days at least.
Okay, because I want to use it for the chicken salad. So.
Yeah, you're good. You'll be fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Anybody else have a question? Anyone else? Alejandro, did we get your question answered? Alejandro. All right. Ladies and gents, yeah, you good? Okay.
Yes, good.
Okay, ladies and gents, make sure you reach out. You let us know if you need help. Before you reach out, make sure that you take a look at the weekly presentation. Hopefully that can answer your questions. If not, give us a call and we will be the first ones to work with you and help you out. Remember, Chef Suzanne is there to answer your questions regarding any type of evaluation or whether she has received your submission or not. Any questions regarding the actual assignment itself or how to prepare it, how to do it, reach out. I'm here to help you. That's what we do. I hope everybody has a fantastic week, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Have a great day, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Be on the lookout for the